Hey everyone, Dr. Clark here. I want to explain why fibromyalgia is worse for women who are night owls. What we're going to be talking about is something called a chronotype. We already know from years and years of research that sleep quality and sleep is totally disturbed in women that have fibromyalgia. So they may not have trouble. They may have trouble going to sleep. May have trouble staying asleep. They may not really reach REM sleep. They may get restless leg syndrome at sleep. They may wake up feeling totally unrefreshed. So we know from that body of research that's been done over the last 30, 40 years that sleep is certainly a problem. And there are a couple other factors that go along with this diagnosis of fibromyalgia. And I want to start by telling you that the old criteria of using tender points to diagnose you, really that's kind of an archaic, dusty, outdated way of doing it. They're really, what medical doctors are using now to diagnose fibromyalgia is a really short questionnaire. The fibromyalgia impact questionnaire usually is what they're doing. It takes like 10, 15 questions, and if you answer enough of these questions yes, then you've got fibromyalgia. Because there is no gold test. There is no lab test. The reason the tender point test isn't really used anymore is because the doctors weren't using it anyway. Big surprise. A lot of women were getting diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and the doctors that were doing the diagnosing weren't even doing the tender point examination. And the other reason is new research shows that you may not even have pain as your predominant symptom. You could have cognitive problems as your predominant symptom, meaning you could have memory loss, brain fog. That could be your presenting chief symptom of your fibromyalgia. So basically, you've got to have sleep problems, widespread pain, and fatigue. Now, the chronotype is basically some really cool research that was done in Germany where they looked at people's, were they early chronotypes, mid chronotypes, or late chronotypes? Basically meaning, did they go to sleep late? Did they go to sleep in kind of middle, or did they go to sleep early? And the most important thing for you to get out of this information is that late chronotypes are more affected by fibromyalgia. So what this means is if you go to bed later, okay, the later you go to bed, the more you're going to be affected by your fibromyalgia. And that kind of just makes, basic good sense. Because sleep, you need to be getting, depending on who you are, you need to be getting at least, 7 to 8 hours of sleep to even be functional. And the less sleep you get, the more your sympathetic nervous system starts to ratchet up, and it increases all of your fibromyalgia symptoms. And when you go to bed later, you miss a very good window for very important restorative sleep. A lot of people call it the vampire sleep. It's the sleep that you get between 11 to 2 that really does a lot for your restorative capabilities. Late chronotypes, by their definition and the way that these German studies define it, go to bed later. So we're talking about people that are going to bed, at midnight, at 1, those type of times. And you're just not going to feel good if you do that. Now, interestingly, the paper that I'm referring to, they looked at 1,548 people diagnosed with fibromyalgia, probably using the old method. But they had them fill out these different questionnaires, one of which was the Fibromyalgia Impact Questionnaire. And if you've never seen that, it's a questionnaire that basically says, asks you about activities of daily living. I have one right here. It basically says, were you able to do shopping over the last week? So were you able to do shopping, do laundry, prepare meals, vacuum a rug? It asks you those types of questions. And then it also asks you to kind of rate on a scale what kind of a problem you had with when you worked, how much pain or other symptoms that interfere with your ability to work, how tired have you been. So that's what the Fibromyalgia Impact Questionnaire is. And so they looked at all the associations between late chronotypes, and late chronotypes were definitely and significantly more affected by the following. There was an association with late chronotypes and stress, memory failures of everyday life. Now that's kind of translated from the German, but I think we all know what those are, right? Memory failures of everyday life. Where did I put my keys? Why did I pick up my cell phone? Why did I walk into this room? What did you just say? Those are the memory failures of everyday life associated with being a late chronotype. Fatigue was also associated with late chronotype, depression but not anxiety, and your scores on the Fibromyalgia Impact Questionnaire. So what do you do with this information? Well, I'm going to tell you what it is. It's very simple. Go to bed earlier. Now, I know you may have problems going to sleep. You may have problems staying asleep. But if you stay up later, you're going to be affected by these things I just named. Stress, depression, everyday memory failures, pain. Actually, pain wasn't one of them. Those are the things that you're going to be affected by. So go to bed. Now, if you have these sleep problems, I hope you're working with someone that understands the very complex nature of sleep. And I want to tell you one thing. I hope you're not taking melatonin, because if you're taking melatonin long term, it's going to be very difficult for you because you're not supposed to take that stuff long term. So the takeaway message is if you're staying up late and you're a late chronotype, you're going to be more affected by fibromyalgia. So you need to, first of all, try to go to bed earlier. I mean, that's just kind of a general thing. I know that may be easy for me to say than it is for you to do, but that's what needs to happen. And secondly, you need to find someone that understands how to help you get over this stuff, how to help you feel better, how to help you deal with the sleep, because there's a lot of things you can do. And I hope you're not working with someone who's still using the old tender point model.